All right, what is up, guys? We are live again on the school platform right now on Saturday, like we do every Saturday, or at least we try to. And today, our topic is going to be Bitcoin and crypto wallets because this is something that's like obviously super important in the Bitcoin world, and a lot of people don't know anything about them, and they don't know the risks, and they don't know how to actually protect their Bitcoin for like long term. Um, Away from possibilities of getting hacked and getting and like losing their funds just from bad practices and problem exchanges. So uh, first, we're going to just talk about the different kinds of wallets and the different types. So first, there's something called a hot wallet, and hot wallet pretty much just means that the wallet is online. It's an app, right? It's just something you can download from the Play Store, and you can keep your Bitcoin in there. And a lot of these wallets actually still give you a private key, and this private key would be a string of like 12 to 24 words, and that would be your encrypted vault key essentially. So a lot of people would write this down on a piece of paper and keep it very safe somewhere. A lot of people have, there's a bunch of companies. I could put up some companies in the description, but there's a certain amount of companies out there that let you like stamp into a metal plate that's fireproof and water resistant and all this type of stuff, so you can keep it. There's other more intricate designs, like for example, you can have a washer. You stamp your private key into there, and then you can like keep it you know somewhere in your house. It's a washer. You could do whatever you want with it. You could use it as like a in a screw on your dresser. Like, you know what I mean? It's just you can keep it out of the public so that nobody would be able to find it. Um so yeah, so okay, let's get back into the hot wallets. So an example of a hot wallet, just meaning an online wallet, would be something like, we have Cash App, we have Blue Wallet, we have Exodus, we have Trust Wallet. These are just things that you can go on the App Store and download today. The only problem with these is the fact that they're online, they're vulnerable to like hack and malware. So it's still technically your keys, your Bitcoin, but again, it's online, it's vulnerable to hacks, and you don't want to wake up one morning and all your money's gone because it got hacked because you didn't even know that it was online. You thought, "Oh, I have the Coinbase wallet, so this is great. This is online. I hold the private keys." Well, you could still get hacked. So, and this leads us into the most important type of wallet, which is the cold wallet. And the cold wallet, so for example, there's a couple different types of cold wallets. So this right here might be hard to see. We're not really focusing in. Ledger, that's a Ledger wallet right there. So the misconception is that your Bitcoin is actually on this device. This device is a signing device. This device contains no actual Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is on the blockchain, and this is your signing device that securely holds your private keys for you. So for a device like this, you'd still have your private keys written down somewhere on a piece of paper or piece of metal, or however you decide to store your private keys. There's tons of different ways, but this is a signing device. It holds your private keys. But if I put this in a furnace tomorrow, doesn't matter. It doesn't get rid of my Bitcoin. My wallet still exists on the blockchain. It's just this is my key into it without having to, you know, uh, pull out my private keys each time and import 24 words into somewhere. And also, that would be a super dangerous way to do it anyway. So you, the private keys are still, needed, and they're still needed to be kept safe, because otherwise if you lose your private keys, you lose your crypto. It's just as simple as that. But something like this securely offline stores your private keys, and then you're able to use this as a signing device. So then there's also a couple other different types of cold wallets. So for example, this is a Tangem cold wallet. Very cool looking card. So it's just the size of a debit card. Stuff on it. It's just the size of a debit card or credit card. fits right in your wallet, fits anywhere you want to go. But the thing is, inside here, there's a microchip, and that chip is the access again to your vault in cyberspace on the blockchain. So the difference between something like this, and it also comes in a ring, so you can have a ring on, and it's your signing device for your Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency really. So that's pretty cool. But the main difference between something like this and something like this is that um, this has private keys associated with it. So this has, a piece of paper or a piece of metal with all my private keys on it. Whereas this is the private key. This acts as the private key. There's no piece of paper or metal stamper that goes along with this. That's why you have multiple copies of the exact same thing. So this is the exact same private key are on here. Um, the difference is if I lose my Ledger signing device tomorrow, I can go buy a new one, connect it to the same private keys that I have on a piece of paper or a piece of metal, and I'll be able to have access to that. If somehow I lost all three of these, you would lose access to that wallet entirely. But the odds that you lose all three of them are pretty, low, because that would mean you would have to have them all at the same point at some time. So there's a lot of different benefits to these, but this is the safest way to keep your crypto in a cold storage wallet. So the benefits would be something like, I could keep this at, my mom's house in a safe. I can keep this one locked up in my house, and I can keep this one on my finger at all times or on a chain around my neck or something like that. This just has a little bit of diversity of protection because as long as you have one, you can access your Bitcoin. And it's also protected by an access code. Same with this. So in whatever case, if you lose this, they don't immediately have access. Whoever stole it, they don't have immediate access to your Bitcoin. They would have to go through your access key, and odds are, just like a password, they're not going to be able to figure that out. So there's just different options here. The main downfall of something like Tangent is that you know, keep you just have to keep all three of these safe. And if you lost all three of them, you lose access to everything. Whereas I could buy an unlimited amount of ledgers and connect them to my private keys as long as I still have my private keys. So it's just different setups, right? So that again, these are the safest way. Cold storage is the absolute safest way to keep your Bitcoin in a vault in cyberspace for long term stacking. Also, another just different thing. I think they're going away with it, but right now, as far as I know, the Tangent cards, they only have one public address, and the addresses don't randomly generate. So that could be a little bit weird because they can, somebody could potentially like track how much you have on your Tangent wallet over time using the same public address. But that's really not that big of a concern. I don't really care much, but I'm pretty sure they're implementing that soon on Tangent to be able to generate new private keys. Yeah. So again, cold storage, absolute safest way to keep your Bitcoin, right? So this brings us over to exchanges. And I wanted to get through the different safety ways with, hot wallets and cold storage uh, before we get to the exchanges, because I don't want somebody to like click off this video. I only talked about the exchanges and then they go and buy and hold all their Bitcoin on an exchange or something. So an exchange is custodial, which means they are holding the private keys for you. So essentially, it doesn't matter if you have $15 worth of Bitcoin or $10 million worth of Bitcoin on, let's say, Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini or Binance. They own the private keys. You don't own anything. They could just freeze up your account. They could, you know, they could get hacked. They could go bankrupt, and you lose all you have. They have the private keys. Now, the difference would be with something like a cold storage wallet. You control the private keys, meaning you control 100% of the responsibility of keeping the Bitcoin. Doesn't mean you still can't lose it, but it's on the blockchain. It has nothing to do with Kraken or Gemini or Coinbase or something like that. So that's one of the biggest common misconceptions, is that people just hold their Bitcoin on an exchange. An exchange is the worst absolute place to hold your private keys. Like, so for example, a hot wallet, you still control the private keys, but it's online. So there's like a risk factor in that it's online. But it's also for more like everyday use because you don't need to confirm your transactions all the time with like a signing device or something. You could, you could send something from Trust Wallet or somewhere to Trust Wallet or Trust Wallet to somewhere, a little bit easier. It's for like more like everyday use, small amounts, right? But again, it's vulnerable. So an exchange just adds you know, an extra side of why you wouldn't want to keep your Bitcoin on there, as opposed to a hot wallet. A hot wallet's way like a cold storage wallet is the best possible way. The next possible way would be a hot wallet. It's still secure, you still own your keys, but it's vulnerable to attacks. And then in exchange, you never want to keep your Bitcoin on an exchange. You can buy it from an exchange, sure, you might have to deal with higher fees, but you can buy it on a exchange easy peasy. Just use a credit card or a debit card or, whatever. And also you can trade and you can hold stocks on exchanges like crypto.com or something like that or Coinbase. Um, they exchanges aren't garbage in terms of that. They're just garbage for um holding long term your Bitcoin because you could just wake up tomorrow and Coinbase has a big lawsuit or something and a problem and you lose money. I just saw a story the other day, um, that somebody lost $900,000 because they just had it in a Coinbase wallet and it got hacked. So it's like that's Coinbase can't do anything about that. Like crypto is not FDIC insured, you know? So somebody literally just lost $900,000 because they had their Bitcoin on an exchange as opposed to uh in somewhere cold storage, right? And it might be a little terrifying to have $900,000 in Bitcoin on like, a cold storage wallet just because it's just one signing device, one pair of private keys that you could lose and lose it all. So that's why it's, probably good to have multiple setups, like a tangent ring and ledger signing device. Then maybe you can disperse the cards out, like I told you for tangent, because then you have more protection, right? So like a let's go through like a crazy scenario here. If I had my tangent card at my mom's house, my house, and I had my ring on me, let's say I was in another country. Say I was in like, I was in London or something. I'm in the US right now. Let's say I was in London. uh, I had my ring on me, so I could use it. I could use it as a signing device anytime I wanted to. Not that I would, but it's just you have it with you. It. You can hold your Bitcoin on you at all times, right? So then imagine while I'm in London, let's say my house burns down and my one card gets ruined. Well, I still have my ring and I still have the other card over at my mom's house. So my Bitcoin's safe. It's still secure and safe on the blockchain. Uh, Whereas, if I had all three of these things in a drawer in my house and my house burnt down, I just lost my entire Bitcoin portfolio because I'm in London and everything just got burnt. So, yeah, you still probably want to diversify across cold storage wallets. But that's why I really like Tangem and I've been a Ledger user forever. So, uh, that was my initial wallet. So I like to diversify with it a little bit. It's just different applications for different companies. It's just cool system. Cold storage wallets are just the best way to go. Now I'm not going to say I don't have a hot wallet. I do have a hot wallet, but I hold other things in my hot wallet that are more used for every day. I swap on hot wallets a lot because I earn crypto coins, essentially shit coins, and then I convert them into Bitcoin or something like that. So and then the Bitcoin I would send to my cold storage wallet. So yeah, that's a pretty much a long way to say that cold storage wallets are the way to go, and they're the best. They're just essentially they're the best option. You want to have your Bitcoin safe for long term, and using something like a Tangent ring would allow you to easily do something. So let's just show you. Um, so you have the Tangent app here, and then you can log on to the Tangent app. Then if you wanted to make a transaction, you would have to take the ring off, and then you would have to tap it to the back of your phone, because what Tangent has is a tap system. I forget what it's called right now, but they have I think it's called NFC, something like that. They have a tap system where it's completely safe and secure. You tap to sign a transaction with either one of your cards or one of your ring, and then you're able to sign that transaction and do whatever you need. Uh, for me, I don't really do that though. I don't really need to, because keep I hodl essentially, right? My Bitcoin's safe in cold storage. I hodl. Whereas something like this with the ledger, you would have to, open this bad boy up. You'd have to use the cable that comes with the ledger, and that's super important because it's just to make sure it's like a secure connection. And you plug it into your computer, you access the ledger app, and then you can also do it on mobile if you have a certain model of a ledger signing device. But yeah, you would plug it into your computer. You would use it use your access code to unlock access to your private key, and then you'd be able to sign the transaction and move your Bitcoin. It's just as simple as that. It's just there are different ways to do this. And right now, I really prefer Tangem. I think it's really good technology, and also Tangem is closed sourced, and I think that's super important for a company because there's no way anybody could backdoor you if you know that if you know the code that's behind the technology you're using. Whereas Ledger is closed sourced. And that's just because they don't want to reveal their secrets, because they're an OG um, crypto cold hardware wallet, right? So, with that being said, this is all the basic info you would need to use and to hear for wallets. I know this is like a bit ranty, but that's the whole point to this. And eventually, over time, people can hop into the school group, which let me share my screen here. People can hop into the school group, and yeah, and they'd be able to come right here, Bitcoin Entrepreneur School Group, and you can come and join the live hangouts. And you can come in and ask questions. Maybe we can even have some people talk over time. Uh, and we're going to be doing this every Saturday. So it's been fun. If you want to join that school group, it's in the description. If you would like to get yourself a Tangem or a Ledger, I have some links in the description as well. And yes, I will receive a small affiliate commission if you do use those links. So if you want to keep seeing this channel going and help me out, then if you use it from that link, it'll be at no cost to you, and you'll get 10% off your Tangem, and you'll get deals through your Ledger too, and it'll just help the channel out. So I appreciate all these things. I hope that was a bit of a r- rambling way of explaining to you all about wallets in the crypto world. And yeah, so I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Click that subscribe button, join the school group, and peace.